What's up everybody, welcome back to Bond's Box. I am Bond and today we're taking a look at the second half of August 2019's Games with Gold games. So we still have Gears of War 4 available for Gold members from the first half of the month. Torchlight is now gone and being replaced with another one. But we'll cover the two new ones that will appear on the 16th. And as always, these games are, the footage you see here is running on Xbox One X. I don't think either of them are enhanced, unfortunately, but two very good games for the genres they're in. One might be kind of niche. The Forza, as you can see here, it's the sim version, so the Motorsport series is a lot more niche, I would say, but we'll get into that when we get to there. But hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos. It's my second complete month now of doing these, so hopefully we can keep these going. It seemed like maybe you don't like the PlayStation Plus ones as much, but I'll do a few more of those as well to see maybe you just didn't like that one. But yeah, we'll get into them. So first up, as I'm sure you've already seen from all this footage, is Forza Motorsport. You might not know its number, I suppose, but this is Forza Motorsport 6. This originally came out back in September 2015, and this is kind of a bittersweet entry, I guess, for fans of this game. It is free with gold, or part of your membership, but it is being delisted from the store on September 15th, so this is kind of like a last chance to get the game type of thing. On the 15th it will be gone. On top of that, the DLC, you can get all of the DLC in a package that's usually $100 or £75 for 95% off, so it's $5 or £4 right now. So that is a steal. That comes with like the Porsche expansion and the NASCAR expansion along with all the car packs and stuff. So it's definitely, if you plan on getting into this game, I highly recommend grabbing that as well for that amount of money. It is a steal. It adds like almost 150 more cars, obviously the expansions and stuff, so that is very cool. At the moment the discount says it's only valid for the next 4 days though, so I'd recommend jumping on that if that appeals, but I've read that it's supposed to be there until the 15th of September when the game disappears, so I'm not 100% sure on that. So if you want it, I highly recommend grabbing it before, just in case it is only the 4 days. So yeah, I mean, Forza Motorsport 6 was the first game, or the first motorsport game on Xbox One, I feel, that got the game back to what it was supposed to be. I feel like Forza Motorsport 5 was kind of rushed for the launch of the system, unfortunately. It was very lacking compared to 4, but 6 got it back on track, I feel. And I mean, if you're into sim races, there's not really much further to look than this. You get, just the free part, you get the 460 cars that are in the base game, you get 22 tracks, which has all the variants and all that kind of stuff with it, the story mode. And yeah, I mean, for kind of a slightly off topic, this game did get a limited edition console back in the day. It was a fat original, you know, VCR looking Xbox One. It was kind of blue. I'll throw a picture up on screen, but the noises it made were really cool. You turn it on and it sounded like, you know, a car engine revving up. And it's still to this day, I think, maybe not the best looking system, but in terms of the custom sounds, I think it has the best custom sounds, just because turning on your system sounded like a supercar starting up was like always super cool to me. But yeah, I mean, I don't have too much more to say about this. It's basically more Forza Motorsport. I mean, the series has been, as a whole, fantastic in its lifetime. I feel like maybe it's getting a little bit stale now, but maybe that's why they haven't got one out this year. They've been pumping them out every 2 years for a while now, and they've seemingly not bringing one out this year. They haven't announced anything. So maybe that break is what they need to refresh it. Yeah, I mean, if you like sim racing, definitely check this game out. It is a whopping 45-ish gigs, so if you got data caps and that kind of thing, make sure to watch out for that. And the DLC that I mentioned is under 10. I think it's about 5 actually. DLC doesn't add that much more to it if you decide to grab it. But yeah, that's all I have to say on this one, and we'll move on to the 360 game. So for the back-to-back game, we have a 360 game that came out back in October 2010, at least on 360 PS3. It came out on PC way later in 2013, which was kind of odd, I suppose, but maybe not. But it is the reboot of Castlevania, Lords of Shadow, and I'm personally, this is one of my favorite games from last year, and this was a fantastic game that I highly recommend you check out if you're into kind of third-person story-driven action games, kind of what you get on like most of Sony's exclusives. It's a similar vein to that, I'd say. So it's very unlike what you might expect from Castlevania. Obviously the very early ones were like side-scrolling level-based hack and slash games, and then you got the Symphony of the Night and on, and they're very much Metroidvania games and helped form that genre altogether. So it's nothing like those games. It is I guess more like the original Castlevanias in that it is level based and more linear, but even then I'd say not so much. More like God of War, like not the new one, but like the earlier ones, I'd say. But yeah, it is linear chapter based. So, and there is 2 DLCs you can get for this that they're not bad, but I'd say they don't live up to the main game, and one of them I remember being insanely hard on the harder difficulty too, to the point where it almost felt cheap, but I mean they're still good and they expand on the ending and whatnot. So if you really love the game, I highly recommend checking out those DLCs as well. But if you were kind of indifferent or worse to the game, I'd probably just skip them. So yeah, I mean the story is you are Gabriel Belmont, so right off the bat there, it's a Castlevania game with the Belmont bloodline. You are traveling through eastern, western, somewhere in Europe, southern Europe, I think. One of the compass directions, Europe. Blanking on it, and I didn't write it down. So you're in Europe, and you're traveling to take down this shady organization called the Lords of Shadow. It's medieval times as well, probably should mention that. And with the hopes of bringing your wife back to life. So that's basically the whole premise of it. Obviously there's twists and turns and stuff like that as you go, and it sets up, I think the DLC more sets up the events of Lords of Shadow 2, which is a very divisive game, I'd say, Lords of Shadow 2. If you really like Lords of Shadow 1, I highly recommend checking out 2. I'd agree that it's not as good, but I still had a lot of fun with it, so if you liked 1, you'll probably find some entertainment in 2. Just don't expect the same level of quality and goodness. That's not even a word, but that's what I'm using. But so yeah. But I mean, this first one, the cast in it for a start is amazing. Your protagonist is played by Robert Carlyle, who, I mean, he's been in a bunch of stuff, a bunch of movies. I'm sure you know who he is. I know him mainly from playing Renard in The World Is Not Enough. But I believe he's in Full Monty and a bunch of other stuff anyway. You got Natasha McElhone, who I know I'd seen her a lot in Californication. He was David Duchovny's like ex-wife, mother of his child, baby mama, all that kind of thing. So she is the dead wife. You got Patrick Stewart, who, I mean, if you need me to explain who Patrick Stewart is, you probably don't watch too many movies, I suppose. But Professor X from the original X-Men movies, Star Trek, Jean-Luc Picard, etc. You also got Jason Isaacs, who was Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies. The dad of Draco. You got Richard Madden, who a lot of people will know as being Robb Stark. So you got a ton of like star power from like movies and TV in here, and it probably shouldn't be that surprising considering the producer of this game was Hideo Kojima, and I mean anybody who knows him knows how much he loves his movie and TV stars and TV shows and movies and stuff. So anything with his fingers in, I mean, you could pretty much expect it. I mean, he's got Death Stranding coming out later in the year with all those crazy actors and actresses. So yeah, the game itself is beautiful as well. Like, that's the one thing this game has over the second one. It's like you go through, you're on this journey traveling through these beautiful kind of countryside-esque locales, and I mean, there's a couple castles. I mean, but in general, it does just look beautiful and much better than the dreary kind of modern day city landscape of 2. But yeah, I'm not saying it's still very good as well. If you want, I mean, the other 2 aren't free this month. I should probably stress that. It's only Lords of Shadow 1. The DLC isn't either. But if you want a more traditional Castlevania game that's available on Xbox One, well, first off, there's Bloodstained. That I'd highly recommend that game. But also, Mirror of Fate is part of the series that these guys made, Castlevania Mirror of Fate. Officially called Castlevania Lords of Shadow Mirror of Fate, which is quite long. But yeah, I mean, there's an HD version available on 360 and PS3. It is back compat on Xbox One also. So I recommend checking that out. I think it's more... I don't fully remember the story, and I did not research it again for this video, which was a mistake. But I believe you're playing as Alucard. Could be wrong. But yeah, that's the 2D kind of side-scrolling Metroidvania style game. And yeah, I mean, I think I've rambled on enough about Lords of Shadow 1. So again, I highly recommend it if you're into single-player story-driven kind of third-person action games, much like the older kind of God of Wars and that kind of thing. Especially if you want kind of a single-player story-driven game that isn't like, hugely open world. Like, while that was a huge thing this gen, I feel like it started to become a bit of a drag, having every game be like huge open world. So it's a nice change of pace for that, for sure. But yeah, anyway, definitely check this one out if you are looking for a single-player game to play. Yeah, quick note that I forgot to add on in there is the game is around 13.5 gigabytes, so for you data capped people that is worth mentioning. Again, a lot smaller than Forza, but a lot bigger than a lot of 360 games. It was on multiple discs on 360. So thanks again for watching, guys. I do appreciate you guys watching these videos a lot. I know my videos lately have been very sporadic, and that is a combination of a lot of annoying factors. A, it's the summer and there's not a whole lot of new games coming out. B, some mental issues that are getting in the way of me trying to be creative with thinking of ideas for videos to fill the void. But we're coming up on September now. There's a lot of stuff coming out in September. I'm going to have a lot of unboxings, a lot of X-Enhanced videos, and hopefully once I get some of my real life stuff in order, I will be able to be more creative and actually make some cool like side pieces that aren't necessarily to do with anything new. Maybe even some Let's Plays, we'll see. But so yeah, I do apologize for that, but I do love you guys who subscribe to the channel, who always like my videos, who always watching my videos. If you don't already do that already, make sure to hit the thumbs up if you did like the video, subscribe for more content, hit the bell if you want to know when that content goes live, and join all those other awesome people that do that already. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, week, etc. I'll see you all next time.